about the lab 6 of our course, Comp 380, that's Introduction to Artificial Intelligence. So the first, we have five preliminary questions, which is what is interpretation? Interpretation refers to the process of assigning meaning or understanding to data or information stored in a knowledge base. It's extracting relevant insights, making connections between different pieces of information, and drawing inferences or conclusions based on the available data. And then what's a model? A model is a simplified representation of a system, process, or phenomena that helps us understand, analyze, predict, or stimulate behavior. In fields as diverse as science, engineering, economics, and social sciences, models are used to capture essential features of real world phenomena while abstracting unnecessary details. And then what does it mean for a proposition to be entailed by a knowledge base? If the design is part of the knowledge base, it means that the design follows logically from the information contained inside the knowledge base. In other words, if a knowledge base contains certain facts, rules, or assumptions, and those include a particular proposition, then the proposition must necessarily be true given the information in the knowledge base. Entailment is a fundamental concept in logic and systems reasoning that suggests that if the premises, in this case the knowledge base, are true, then the conclusion must also be true. What does it mean for a proof procedure to be sound? For a proof procedure to be sound, it means that it reliably produces only true conclusions based on the input knowledge base and the derived rules it uses. In other words, if a proof procedure determines that a statement follows from the premise or knowledge base using valid inferential steps, then the statement is guaranteed to be true in all interpretations where the premises are true. What does it mean for a proof procedure to be complete? A proof procedure is said to be complete if it is able to derive all true conclusions that can be logically derived from input knowledge base. In other words, a complete proof procedure guarantees that if a proposition follows logically from the assumptions, then the procedure will eventually find proof or evidence supporting that proposition. So now we have a sample knowledge base which says that A is true if B is true, D is true if C is true, and C is always true. So let's see if which of these interpretations are models. So what that means is if we'll see if L1 is true, if is a model, that means it says that A is true, B is true, C and D are false. It will not be true because our knowledge base that says that C is always true. So L1 cannot be a model. Let's check for L2. C is true, but D is false. And according to our knowledge base, if C is true, then D has to be true. So again, this cannot be our model. Now for L3, C and D are both true, which is very good. Now B is true, that means that A has to be true, but it is not. So this cannot be our model. For L4, C is true, D is true, which is good, and B is false, that means A is false. So this can be a model. This is a model for our knowledge base. Now see which of the following entailment is true. In that knowledge in our knowledge base, A is always true. That cannot be true. B is also not true. Now C is an entailment because C will according to our knowledge base, C is always true, and D is also an entailment because D also has to be true all the time because C is always true, and if C is true, then D is true. So C and D are always true, which we also saw in this model that they always have to be true. Thank you.